And you will find this sex magic symbolism in company logos, like this logo from the Cubs, which is created through the sex magic of the logo, the baby Cubs. And this is the same symbol that you will find at the Vatican. And of course, we see this sex magic symbol at the United Nations, which is the exact same symbolism that you find at Solomon's Temple or in Washington, D.C. And this is why the Bible centers around the Hor, or the Horeb, Mount Sinai, the fertility of the fire mountain. And Mount Sinai is where Moses encountered the burning bush of the goddess. And of course, this is where they built the monastery, which is named after the moon. And this is why Mount Sinai is known as Jabal Musa, as in Baal, and the Musa, which is the horny moon mountain of Baal. And this is exactly why the mountain of Jabal Musa has the bull carved into it. And this is exactly why Moses, or Musa, came down from the horny mountain with horns. And like the Bible said, his hair of his head was white as wool. And of course he had the sexual fire in his eyes, so of course he had the white head with horns, because he is the penis head, the anointed one. And now the truth about angels.
Let your imagination take flight with angels. They appear at key events in the Bible. The angel Gabriel delivers the message of the Immaculate Conception to Mary. An angel tells the shepherds that Jesus is born.
Did you notice the horned cow or the horned bull?
The Gospels tell us that angels are present at the crucifixion and the resurrection. They frame Jesus' life on earth.
Notice how they show you the Son of God.
For barely 30 years, Jesus traversed the earth. With Jesus showing the warmth and compassion of the biblical angels, what need then would there be for these divine emissaries? Only upon the death of Jesus would angels begin to reappear. From this very moment, when an angel announces the resurrection of Jesus, with the death and resurrection of Jesus, a bold new faith was born.
They appear at key events in the Bible. They frame Jesus' life on earth.
In the last book of the New Testament, known as the Book of Revelation, instead of finding comfort in images of compassionate angels, the early Christians conceived of them as carrying out the vengeance of God, divine retribution against a world of unbelievers, a time of unthinkable destruction and upheaval. Suddenly, disturbingly, in Revelations, a tumultuous battle erupts among the angels in heaven.
And war broke out in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon. The great dragon, who is called the devil and Satan, the deceiver of the whole world. He was thrown down to earth, and his angels were thrown down with him. Revelation 12:9.
Although the Archangel Michael vanquishes Satan and his forces, the earth itself is so racked with evil it is doomed to experience the terror of the final days, the last judgment of God.
They frame Jesus' life on earth. They appear at key events in the Bible.
You see, in the real world, angels are not real at all. So why do you think it is that angels frame the life of Jesus on earth? And why do you think they appear at key events in the Bible? Because the truth is that an angel is the ang of El, or an angle, which is the same thing as a cornerstone. You see, because we're talking about the zodiac wheel, the annual wheel of the year, the 1 year it takes for the sun, or should I say the earth, to revolve around the sun. And this is why Monday and Sunday begin and end our week, which of course is the moon Monday and the sun Sunday. And this is exactly why the most important angels in the Bible are Michael, which is the son of Sunday, and Gabriel, or Jibrael, because this is the angel of Moon's Day, or Monday. And why do you think it is that Gabriel will be the one that blows the horn at end times? Because we're talking about the end of the annual year during the 12th month of cold winter and death, at the end of time, before time is reborn, like the month is reborn, or like the year is reborn. And believe me, there's not going to be a rapture or the end of the world. It's just the end of an age, because a rapture is just the raw aperture, like the aperture of your camera, again dealing with the sun. And again, the apocalypse is just the Apollo eclipse, or the eclipse of the sun. And this is exactly why we have the book of Revelations, because we're talking about the sun revolving around the earth, or the earth revolving around the sun in modern times, because the ancients actually thought that the sun revolved around the earth. And this is why Jesus is the firstborn of the dead, because the sun dies and re-rises every year. And of course the sun is reborn from the dark death every day. So you see, the earth will come to an end at the end of the year, during winter time, the time of death and destruction. But then Jesus will return, or the sun will return, and save everyone and bring us a new year. And that's exactly why the Bible in Revelations says the appearance of the Lamb means the arrival of Jesus. The sun will return and be reborn for the new year. And why do you think the magic number 7 can be found throughout the Bible? I mean, why do you think the number 7 is so lucky? And why are there 7 sins, or the 7 sacraments, or the 7 seals of Revelations? Because we're talking about the sun, which is the 7th day of the week. And that's exactly why they make 7 circles around the Kaaba stone. This is why their symbol is the sexagram, or the Star of David, which is the Star of Divide, showing the male and the female aspect of the sun and the moon, the heavens. It's showing the 7 planets. That's why the center is the sun, the 7th day. And that's why the sun is in the centaur, or the center of the zodiac wheel, which is the numbers that are doubled of the Star of David. So instead of 6, it's 12. And this is why God's number is the 6th day, Saturn's day. And the 6 is also doubled as the 12. That's why El, or God, is 12 also. The 6 and the 12, doubled. Thus the Son of God, which comes from God, is the 7th and the 13th, the two numbers that come after God's day. And in the Bible, the zodiac is called the Mazareth, and that's exactly why Jesus is from the place called Nazareth. So why do you think the book of Revelations tells you that there will be 4 horsemen in the apocalypse, or the 4 archangels? And why do you think there are 4 letters for the Word of God? For the exact same reason that there are 4 seasons. And that's why the symbol of the Christians is the cross, which is the symbol of the zodiac. And an archangel is named after the fertility horns of the Ark of the Moon. And this is where we get the Ark of Noah, or Noah's Ark. And again, we see the creation story of the gene of Isis, and this is the fertility symbolism that's behind the truth of Noah's Ark, and carrying on the sacred seed of life. And we see the ancient flood stories that predate the Bible in ancient Sumeria and Mesopotamia. Just like the ancient Egyptian vessels, or the arks, the boats that symbolized life and death, the sun and the moon as they traveled across the sky, the heavens, the sea of life, the blue heavens. In the Egyptian creation myth of Heliopolis, we see the release of a bird that flies over the waters until it reaches land, or a rock, exactly like in Noah's Ark, in the dove. So we find the goddess moon arch, or ark, in the buildings of churches because it represents the goddess, the fertility that comes from the birth or the gene of Isis. And this is why Moses, when he went to Mount Sinai, came down with the Ark of the Covenant, or the Ark of the Moon, which is the ark of the sacred goddess, her box, her ark, her arch. So now you know why we relate boats to females, because they are a vessel, the sacred vessel of the goddess, which is why we have a blood vessel, which is the sacred blood of the goddess. And this is why a boat, or the female, gives birth at the dock. So the sacred golden ark, or the sacred vessel, or the chalice, is nothing more than the sacred bloodline of the female goddess of Mary, which represents Mars in Aries, the house of the Lamb, the baby son. And so we have Ezekiel, the prophet, who had the vision of the wheel within a wheel. And of course, the wheel within the wheel is simply describing the microcosm and the macrocosm, a solar system that revolves within inside of a galaxy, and the galaxy revolves within inside of the universe.
As for the appearance of the wheels and their structure, it was like the glow of chrysolite. The 4 of them had one likeness, and their appearance and their structure were just as when a wheel proved to be in the midst of a wheel.
When a wheel proved to be in the midst of a wheel. When a wheel proved to be in the midst of a wheel.
The word of Jehovah occurred specifically to Ezekiel, the son of Buzi, the priest in the land of the Chaldeans.
And the Chaldeans were an ancient stellar cult that means moon worshipper.
By the river Kibar, and upon him in that place the hand of Jehovah came to be. And I began to see and look, a great cloud mass and quivering fire, and it had a brightness all around, and out of the midst of it there was something like the look of electrum out of the midst of the fire. And out of the midst of it there was the likeness of 4 living creatures, and this was how they looked. They had the likeness of earthling man, and each one had 4 faces, and each one of them 4 wings. And their feet were straight feet, and the sole of their feet was like the sole of the foot of a calf,